Hi, have you just been assigned a project or a paper and told that you have to include a bibliography or a works cited page? I know that can seem like a daunting task, but fortunately, there's help for that. And one of the great tools that I think that's very useful in creating a bibliography or works cited page is EasyBib.com. This is a website, and there's a free version and a paid version. On the free version, you're going to have to put up with a lot of advertisement and pop-ups, but it is free. So the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to sign up for an account. So you're going to click over here on sign up, and then you fill in the information. Now, if you're a person who works in Google Docs, I highly suggest that you use the email that is associated with your Google Docs account, because then they will play very nicely together and make your life much easier. So once you're still need to create a project, and the way you do that is you just click on new project like that and give your project a name. I'm going to do Little Big Horn, and I'm just going to call it Little for right now just to make it simpler. And you could put your subject in there if you want and what you're writing about. That's up to you. But what you must do right now is pick your default style. And at our school we use MLA8, and so that's my default, and I'm going to create a folder. So there's my folder for Little Big Horn. Now let's say I've already looked at a website and I'm ready to cite it. So to navigate to where I cite, I'm going to double click over here on EasyBib, and the form will pop out. And the site I've been using is right here, and this is information on Crazy Horse and Little Big Horn. And so I'm copying the URL, and I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to tell it to cite it, and then the information is going to pop up. It's saying this is what it found, and it gives you some questions to think about too, like if it's biased and so forth. But I'm going to cite this. I feel pretty good about using it. And it tells you, here's what we found for you, and continue to the final step. And here it says, here's what we need help with. Is there an article title, a publisher, electronically published, and authors? So we're going to continue to the final step. Now, websites are interesting, to say the least, because they don't always have everything that you need or that you would expect to have. Some of them do and some of them don't. So here's what it found so far. And so I'm going to go back and see if there's an article title. And I am going to call this Biographies of the Plain Indians, Crazy Horse. I'm going to just see if I can copy it and just paste it in there instead of typing it, because I'm a very slow typer. Yep, that worked. And now I'm going to go back and see if I can find an author. There's not always an author listed, so be prepared for that. And there is not an author here, and that's okay. I'm going to toggle back to my form. There's where the website, they're calling it the Biography of the Plains Indians, which is the title. And then the publisher, our sponsor, and I'm going to go back here, and up in the letterhead it tells us that this is the American Indian Relief Council. So I'm going to go back here and type in that. And then I'm going to look for the day it was electronically published. And I don't think that's on here either. But I'm going to tell you where you can kind of look at the top or the bottom of the article. Sometimes you can look at the About Us to find information. That's always a good place to look, or the Contact Us. So those are different places where you can look for information. I'm going to go back to EasyBib. I don't have any more information. Now notice right here it says add annotation. If I was told I had to do an annotated bibliography, I would click on there and do that. But for this little tutorial, I'm not going to get into that. So we're going to create our citation. And here's what it looks like. Okay, you'll notice that you can copy and paste the citation. You could copy and paste it in Google Doc, or you could just leave it right where it's at, which is what I recommend. And then I'm going to do a few more, and then I'm going to show you where we go from there. So I worked on this earlier, and if I go to my projects, I'm going to look at my projects, and I have one down here that I actually called Crazy Horse, which is really the little bighorn. And I'm going to click on bibliography, and it shows here that I have 4 citations. Now notice they're not in any type of format ready to print yet, but they are all here. And now what I can do is I can say I want to export them. And I can export them to my Google Docs, I can export them to a Word doc, whatever I choose to export them to. Normally I would just export to Google Docs, but today I'm going to export it to a Word doc. And I'm going to download it for MSM Word. I'm just going to, let's see, Little Bighorn. I'm going to save it. And then here it is. I should be able to open it. Voila, here is my works cited page, or a sample of it. And you can see it's all formatted. Everything is in order, just as it should be. And it goes on to the next page. So it's all done for you with the press of one button. Hopefully you will find this helpful. Thanks for your time.